Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Educational AD and another edition of the FIAAA Insider. Today, our guest is John Sgromolo. John's a certified athletic administrator, and he is the newly appointed district AD for Clay County Schools. John, welcome to the program.
Hey, Jake, I appreciate it and happy to be here today.
Okay. Well, as you know, it's a busy time for ADs, and the life of an AD seems to never stop. So we're going to jump right into it. We always like to start out by having our guests share just a little bit about themselves. So tell us, where you grew up, where you went to school, where you went to college, and then we'll tackle your career later in the show.
Yeah, for sure. So first, once again, Jake, thanks for having me today. Super excited to share my experience with everybody. So my name is John Sgromolo. I was actually born in Virginia Beach and moved to Florida when I was 5, and from Clay County. So it's really exciting to now be the county athletic director in the county that I grew up in. So that's super exciting. I went to Clay High School in Green Cove Springs. I'm a baseball guy by trade, played at Clay High School for 4 years. I was blessed to get one offer out of high school to play at Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. Played baseball there for 4 years. Had an awesome career. It was just not just on the baseball field, but in the classroom as well. Really made the most of my student athlete experience. Made some great connections and relationships there at Flagler. I was a part of the transition from NAIA to Division II into the Peach Belt Conference. Just a little nugget. Really proud. My senior year of college, I was selected as the NCAA Division II Sportsmanship Athlete of the Year, which is an award that I really hold true to my heart. And I was lucky enough, after I graduated my senior year with my degree in business administration, I was drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 37th round of the first-year player draft, and was able to play 2 years of professional baseball. And when that dream kind of ended, I started my career trying to become an AD. Taught for 3 years at Ridgeview High School in Orange Park, and taught business education and TV production. All the while kind of shadowing athletic directors and really trying to hone my craft for the chance that I would eventually become an AD. And once I became the AD after 3 years of teaching, did that for 3 years at Ridgeview. Really proud of everything that we accomplished there. Back-to-back FHSAA Freddie Roselle Sportsmanship Award winners, multiple teams, playing in the regions and at the state level. And but more than that, just was really excited about the culture that we created of having a really good student athlete experience. And that's something that you're going to hear me talk about a lot as an AD.
Well, again, you and I have gotten to know each other a little bit this past year. And I know that, you mentioned the theme of sportsmanship, and we're going to go into that later on. But growing up, going to school, who were some of your mentors? Who were some of the individuals that really had an impact on you that now their leadership, their mentorship is showing in the work that you do with student athletes and coaches?
Yeah, so there's 3 people I think that resonate with me throughout my career. 2 of them are athletic directors, and 1 of them is a coach. I would say first, my high school athletic director, Kevin Stafey, who's now the assistant principal at Ridgeview High School. He just had an impact on my life. Walking around campus, he always asked how I was doing, wanted to know my dreams and aspirations as a baseball player and as a person, and really made my student athlete experience great. The second guy would be Judd Damon, who's the current athletic director at Flagler. Kind of a cool short little story. So my sophomore year of college, I was in the weight room. I'm a very OCD kind of guy, very scheduled. Everything's always the same in my life. That's how I like it. And I was working out at Flagler, and it was his first year as the AD. And I knew after he was announced who he was. So I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, Mr. Damon, my name's John Sgromolo. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Flagler." And he goes, "Hey, have a nice day." So I ended up seeing him reoccurring days at the same time. And, finally he said, "Hey, can you spot me? I need a spot." He's big into bench press and that kind of stuff. So went over and spotted him. And next thing you know, he asked me, he said, "John, are you in here at these same times? This is my lunch, my scheduled lunch break." And I said, "Yeah, I am." So we ended up working out for the next 3 years together, student athlete and athletic director. And what a friendship we made and a partnership. And to this day, I still lean on him for advice. And he is the epitome of creating student athlete experience. And a lot of the stuff I learned from Flagler, I then implemented at Ridgeview. And then now we're going to implement into our county, really making sure that our kids have the best, 4 years. And if you count the 2 years of junior high, the best 6 years of education through athletics they can possibly have. And the last guy is a guy by the name of John Shoemaker. People say with the Los Angeles Dodgers, there's two things that are always in common: Tommy Lasorda and John Shoemaker. He's been with the Dodgers for 45 years, and they recently named him a couple years ago as the captain of player development. He's always been a minor league coach. Before I was drafted, I actually met Shu in Jacksonville. I was the bat boy in high school for the Jacksonville Suns, and he really took me under his wing. I felt like one of the players, only being 16 years old. After I would do all my bat boy duties, he'd throw me in BP groups, and I'd be out there taking ground balls with these, high level prospects, guys like Clayton Kershaw and AJ Ellis, and some of these guys that are now just superstars came through Jacksonville. And I really got to experience, being with those guys. But more than that, Shu indirectly taught me how to be a leader. There's things that he did on a daily basis with his baseball program that I've implemented now into my life and in my former baseball team at Ridgeview, and just all the things that I do. So those three leaders all had a tremendous impact on my life.
It's great to hear. Again, I've been doing this a little bit longer than you, but seeing guys that I've coached that are now teachers and coaches, and in a couple cases ADs, they'll say the same phrase or use that same coaching cue. Just so rewarding. It's great to see that you're carrying that on. You've kind of been on a fast track, teacher to coach to AD to district AD. And so this might be a little trickier question. What sort of changes have you seen in the role of the school-based athletic administrator since you have started? Maybe your first job as a teacher coach and that athletic director to your recent job as AD at Ridgeview and now as district AD. How's the job changed from when you first started?
Well, one of the things that's exciting about this question is the fact that I kind of knew back in high school that when my baseball dream ended, I wanted to be an athletic director. So I very intentionally watch people in a way that, hey, how does this program work? I ask a lot of questions. And I think that, to your point of how the role has changed, even though I've only been a high school-based AD for 3 years, I can still speak to how I've seen the role change over the past 12 years, so to speak, just from observing ADs. And this is the way that I explain it to people and our county athletic directors is this. If you think of TV, like if you think of a news anchor, back in the 80s, the news anchor was only the talent. They weren't the cameraman. They didn't do the editing. They oftentimes didn't even go get the story. They were just the on-air talent. Well, now in TV, these people that are the anchor, they're called a multimedia journalist. And what they do is they record the story, they edit the story, they publish the story, and then at 6 o'clock, they're the ones on the news presenting the story. That is how athletic directors have become. It used to be you were in charge of money for gates and in charge of scheduling and in charge of mowing the grass. But now, as an athletic director, you're in charge of social media, you're in charge of promotions, you're in charge of community relations, you're in charge of sponsorships, and mowing the grass, money, and all those other things, right? So I think the tangible skill needed to be an AD is a lot different. You want people that are well-spoken, that are great communicators, that have vision and passion. I think that's vital. I think you have to have a vision for what you want your department to be. Without that vision, you're simply spinning your wheels. You're kind of just keeping your head above water. And that's one of the things that I learned in my couple of years of being in high school AD is, you can have these dreams, but without action, they're just dreams. So it's real important to lay that out tangibly of what you want to do, what the obstacles are going to be and how you're going to overcome those obstacles to make your campus experience the best it can be.
Oh, yeah, no question that technology has certainly been a huge part. It's funny you talk about mowing the grass. My first job as a head football coach, athletic director, I not only was mowing the football field with the tractor, but laying out the aluminum sprinkler pipes. So things have changed just a little bit. You talk about vision, and I know for you that marketing and branding are really an important part of your school. We don't have time to go into your whole presentation, which is wonderful, but just real quickly, what are some things that an AD could do that you've done with success in the area of marketing and branding? Maybe your two best easy fixes.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I could give you a three-pronged approach, and it's in the presentation, which I would highly advise people just to check out for some creative ideas. But the three things with marketing and branding, I would say, are revenue, relationships, and recognition. So revenue, you can leverage all of your social media to actually make money for your department. Relationships, believe it or not, in the world that we live in, we're so technologically based now. That's how we communicate with people, especially our biggest stakeholders, which is our student athletes. So, building those relationships through social media, that's okay. It's how things are working nowadays. And then finally, recognition. It's very important to make sure that not only, and this is where my roles changed as a county AD, not only recognizing the kids, but recognizing the coaches, giving them an attaboy. Right now, I'm currently in the master's program through the University of Missouri. It's a master's of education in positive coaching and athletic leadership. And one of my psychology classes we were talking about is catching people doing things right. As coaches, we always tend to, we want to make people better. So we say, okay, you're doing this wrong. This is how you would correct it. When's the last time as a coach or an AD you've given someone an attaboy for doing something right? And that really reinforces building that positive environment that we're looking for.
That's some really great stuff. There's an old saying that, talking about really, parents and the fans, that everybody wants our job on Friday nights because it looks cool walking around the gym or the field. You're in charge of that, but nobody wants our job Saturday through Thursday, and definitely not during the summertime. You and I know how rewarding being an AD is. What are some of the big rewards? What are some of your favorite parts about being an athletic director?
Man, I would say seeing kids and coaches at their best. It almost, not being a wimp, but it almost brings me to tears thinking about, moments at Ridgeview where I've seen the big picture. I've seen a coach come in and build a program and grind and grind and grind and get beaten down. And then next thing you know, the light clicks and they start building a championship culture amongst their team. And then they're making this playoff run and they beat the team they're not supposed to beat. And, I just think seeing kids and coaches at their best is huge. And then on top of that, along this, echoing that, signing day is always an unbelievable day for families. But then, even on a smaller scale, seeing student athletes just develop, when they come in as a freshman and they really don't know what's going on. And then at Ridgeview, one of the cool things I had the opportunity to do was call names, the male names at graduation. And it was tough sometimes, you see these kids that develop and knowing that even indirectly, you had such an impact on their growth and development, and knowing that when they leave your campus, they're going to be a quality member of society is really rewarding. That's kind of the big payoff that we get as ADs.
Every interview we've done so far, it's always come back to the kids. It's great to hear. You can't be in this business if you don't care about kids. We at the start of the podcast, I mentioned that you were a certified athletic administrator. And one thing we try to do is encourage all of our members in the FIAAA to seek out the athletic director certification through our national organization. Just real briefly, share your journey to becoming a CAA, from your first awareness of the program to the coursework to the exam, and then maybe some future plans in the area of certification?
I'll tell you, I can't sing enough high praises about getting nationally certified. I can tell you, this is what I tell people when I got to Ridgeview as the AD, like starting my 4th year at that school. They said, "John, congratulations, you're the athletic director," and they handed me the keys and they said, "Go get them," and that was it. That was the extent of my training, and that's not at the fault of any administrators or anything like that. It's just kind of like, the AD's always kind of been, the extension of the admin team, and they kind of know what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is there is so much training and information out there, and we really need to take advantage of it. I'm so excited now, being the athletic director of our county, to provide professional development opportunities for our ADs that we have never had. And that's something that we're definitely going to do in partnership with the NIAAA and the FIAAA. We're going to take huge advantage of those opportunities. But back to the CAA situation. So Russ Wombles actually came to Clay County last year and did a presentation through his other business venture, and had mentioned, the NIAAA and getting certified and all that. So I kind of looked into it, and I think that the initial hiccup that people might have is the cost. But let me just reassure you that it's well worth the money, totally well worth the money. The value of the content is something that is worth paying for. And during the COVID, when the pandemic started, as ADs, we kind of found out real quick we had a lot of downtime when there's no athletic events. So I kind of turned to podcasts and professional development opportunities, and jumped right on and started with my my CAA coursework, and really used my time to do that. And then through that, I ended up taking the exam and getting a passing score, and just it really gives you credibility as an athletic administrator to continue your education. And for me personally, now trying to get my master's in education as well. And then as soon as that program is done, I fully plan to tackle the CMAA certification. And like I tell our athletes all the time, at the end of the day, in life, the things that people cannot take away from you is your education. They can't take it, so no matter where you're at, I think it'll be very exciting to eventually say that in the terms of being an AD, I have a master's degree, I have a CMAA, I'm considered extremely high qualified for the position, and it helps, down the road for sure.
Again, we appreciate you sharing the positive aspects. There is a cost with anything that is worthy, and right. I think you've certainly shown that the coursework and the certification process can have a positive impact. We're getting near the end, and we always like to end with what we call the AD's Toolbox. Now, this will be very appropriate for you. You're a new county AD. I'm going to ask you to put together a toolbox for a brand new athletic director. This is you 3 years ago, and you only get to put 3 things in that toolbox. What 3 things are going to go in your athletic director toolbox?
All right, I might be cheating a little bit here, but so the first thing is relationships. You've got to be able to build relationships. There's 3 people that you need to build relationships with immediately: your principal, your head custodian, and your bookkeeper. You need to be best friends with these people, and not from a negative perspective, but because you are going to be in constant contact with these people, whether it's events or discipline or, turning in gate fees, or however your school, runs the show, so to speak. Those 3 people you have to be in contact with. So relationships are going to be huge. The second thing I'm going to tell you is, what would you call it? A planner, a calendar, a scheduler. You need to be effective in time management. You are going to have so many people tugging for your attention that if you don't have a regimented schedule and or plan, it's going to become overwhelming very fast. And I don't say that to scare you. I say that to hopefully motivate you to start planning. One of the things I learned really fast as a new AD, wanting to be ultra supportive, is, the idea of an open door policy. And I actually got this advice from an FHSAA compliance seminar that I first went to. The AD down at I want to say it was Venice, maybe the former AD at Venice. He gave this presentation to new ADs, and what he said is this: it's okay to have an open door policy, but you need to schedule those times. And there's no truer words that have been spoken. You're gonna if you leave your door open, everybody and their brother is going to want to have a 30-minute conversation with the athletic director about local sports and everything that's going on. So that can really hinder you of being productive. So it's very important to schedule time. Coach, hey, coach, I'd love to sit and meet with you. Let's schedule that time so I can respect your time and you can also respect mine. That's going to be important. So relationships, a planner, and then finally, I'm just going to be transparent. You got to have a mentor. You've got to have people that you can lean on that have done it. And for any new ADs, always feel free to reach out to me. I would love to share my experiences with you. I don't care if I've never met you. I can just tell you that now joining the state of Florida County AD network, Valerie and Tammy Talley and Dan Talbot and Doug Patterson, all these people have welcomed me with open arms being the new guy. And it's very humbling and it's just awesome to see that the brotherhood and sisterhood, I'll call it the family that the state of Florida has in athletic directors is unbelievable. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. And it's real important to lean on people that have experience. Those would be my 3 tools.
Again, great tools. And those individuals you mentioned, those county ADs, they're all FIAAA board members, just like you. You're part of that leadership, mentorship bank that we're trying to put together. Also, we mentioned it earlier, for anyone listening, go to the FIAAA website. We have the Zoom presentations from our recent spring virtual conference, and John's presentation on marketing and branding is a must see. So make sure and check that out. That's it for today. Thank you all for listening. John, thank you as well. I know we're going to be seeing each other later this week at the FIAAA annual meeting on Zoom, and then later this fall. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And just real quick, shameless plug here. If you guys are on Twitter, you can follow me at Coach Sgromolo. If you need to contact me, my email is john.sgromolo@myoneclay.net, and you can see all that in the notes.
Thank you, John, again. And thanks for listening. This is the Educational AD, and today featuring the FIAAA Insider. Everybody have a great day.